Hi everyone, back with Bassingtons. I hope you're all keeping well. I hope you're all staying safe. We would like to dispel the myth that you can make lots of money on Rolex watches. There probably was a time you could have done so, but we feel that those days have long gone. Now, we all realize that the steel sports models are very, very hot. And in fact, any sort of steel variant within the Rolex product range is considered hot. But we don't think that's the case. For instance, take the Air King. It has a list price of just over £5,000, but it's only trading on the grey market at about £6,000. And I have a friend who had a brand new Air King. He tried to sell it to a grey market dealer, and he was going to have to take a £900 loss. Equally, take the date just 41 in steel on the Oyster blaster with the steel bezel. I had a friend who had the white dial variant of it, a picture of it coming up now. I actually think this is the best looking date just because the white dial really pops and it doesn't clash with the date complication. Anyway, he hiked that around various grey market dealers, and the best price he could get was to take a £650 hit. So that automatically dispels the myth that you are going to make money on buying a Rolex watch. And that's before we go to, say, the two-tone models, which, you will definitely lose money on. So, what are the hot models? Well, we would say there are three. There's the Daytona, there's the GMT, and there is the Submariner. And these three product ranges are trading well above list price. They're impossible to get hold of through authorized dealers. So we've identified a particular variant within each of the product range. So the first one is the Daytona. We've gone for the all steel white dial variant, which is more commonly known as the Panda. For the GMT, again, we've gone for the all steel variant, and we've gone for the blue and red bezel, more commonly known as the Pepsi. And then finally in the Submariner range, we've gone for the all black Submariner with the black bezel, but with the date complication. Now we're going to see if we can try and get any of these watches through an authorized dealer and at the recommended retail price. The chances are very, very slim. So we'll then have to go to the grey market, and we'll see what we'll pay on the grey market for these particular models, and it's going to be interesting to see the outcome of this little experiment. But before we do that, we want to sort of continue about dispelling the myth on you make money on Rolex watches. The main problem with purchasing a Rolex is you will never ever get a discount at an authorized dealer. Rolex have a tight grip of the authorized dealers, and they simply will not discount. And people say, oh yeah, you don't lose any money on Rolex, you'll make money on a Rolex. Well, the reality is you will lose money on a Rolex, and unless you've got one of the hot models, you won't make any money on a Rolex. That is the reality of it. However, when people say, oh, the other brands crash, well, that's strictly not true. With other brands, say Omega, say Zenith Grand Seiko, or even JJ LeCoultre, or factor in other brands like Panerai, Breitling, IWC, you will get a discount off those watches. You'll get a minimum of 10 or 15%, and sometimes you'll go higher. For instance, just a few weeks ago, I was offered a 35% discount off an Omega. The authorized dealer had had it sat in their shop for months on end. They were finding it very difficult to sell because of COVID. And they phoned me up and they offered me 35% off the watch. And I was so tempted to buy that watch. But obviously, given the circumstances we're living in, I declined. Now, I know that if I bought that watch under normal circumstances, I would make money on that watch. I could keep the watch 2 or 3 years. I would definitely get my money back, and I'd probably make a marginal profit. So that's the thing you've got to look at. With Rolex, you will never get a discount, but with other brands, you will. And that makes a big, big factor when you come to resell. As I say, we have identified 3 product ranges within Rolex that are trading well above list price. These watches you definitely can make money on. The problem is trying to get your hands on them. Stay safe and stay tuned.